Alright, so I hope I can make this one a little bit quick. Yeah, got sick kids and whatnot. Gotta go take care of that nonsense. Um, can't be helped, but is what it is, right? It's been like that for the last 3 weeks, which is why I've not been consistent with making any videos whatsoever. Yay. That week-long flu has been a champion for not peace. But anyways, this one's going to be kind of short because it's really about a pet peeve of mine, really. Um, it's true that tend to side on the stance of what I would consider logic and reason. I stay away from sophistry if I can. I always go with the data or the facts, even if I don't like it. I follow evolutionary biology and sociobiology, which reveals some really nasty things about ourselves, one of which I'm going to cover in an additional video. But um, I really kind of stick to that because it is the reality that we can measure and that we know, that's explainable, that we can understand, that isn't shrouded in mysticism, that doesn't use metaphysics or meta reality or meta whatever the hell else you want to call it, um, because that kind of stuff you can't tangibly know. Having your religious experience or feelings or emotions, you can't really feel the way somebody else is feeling. It's impossible. You can get a good estimation, but their experience is going to be different than yours. That all being said, the reason why I bring all that up is because numerous times in discourse, I guess you could say, I've been called an ally. And I have a problem with that. Why are you calling me an ally? What fight are we fighting? Are we aligned on any political issue, or are we aligned on an activity that we're going to go and mutually do? Is this a public protest or some other sort of event that I am behind you 100% on? Not likely. Because I happen to agree with a few things you say does not necessarily make me an ally to your cause. And nor would I be an ally to anybody's cause if it derides or derails from objective reality, even in the slightest. The moment you move away from objective reality is the moment I step away from you. So, as it's said in the Art of War, allies are fleeting and usually not to be trusted. Well, it doesn't exactly say that, but there's a couple passages that pretty much, one of the most famous things to get out of there is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Use them against your enemy in order to achieve victory. Um, I am not the enemy of anybody's enemy. I stand alone. I refuse to align myself with any particular cause unless it's backed with objective reality. Now, there are a few people that I agree with and I would like to socialize with, and I don't mind getting along with. But once I hear that allyship shit dropped, it it's like nails on chalkboard. I refuse to fight. I'm not going to fight with you. What? I'm not going to fight for you. I'm not going to fight at the behest of you. If you can't stand up on your own, then that's your problem. I have no qualms about dropping people like that. I don't like it. I'm not your ally in any sacred cause against the patriarchy or white supremacy or any other that stupid ass nonsense that's archaic and divisive and quite frankly stupid. There's no evidence or backing or even the inclination that any of it's true. It's just it's rhetoric, it's belief, it's opinion, none of which can be backed up with objective reality. When people start barking their experiences, as I mentioned when I started this, their experiences form their reality. And in fact, this is a form of knowledge, in a sense, but that knowledge does not necessarily denounce truth. Knowledge can be stored internally, not tacit but explicit. Um, and that type of knowledge is things that you have to train somebody how to do so they can learn how to do that thing. It's like a craft or trade skill. But when you start diving into this nonsense of, oh, you're a good ally, we need more allies like you for X, Y, and Z, no, that's not going to happen. I will speak out against anybody that is racist. For example, this is usually where I hear it. Whether it be black, white, purple, brown, green, orange, or whatever, I hate all forms of racism. So if you're racist toward a white, I'm going to speak out against you. If you're racist toward a black, I'm going to speak out against you. Mainly because in the business world, in my particular acumen, demographical information is absolutely freaking useless. It's useless when you hire somebody. It's useless when you have a project to assign people to. It's useless when you're making business decisions. It's useless in every form of a capitalist society. Absolutely useless. Demographical information, male, female, race, religion, creed, whatever, is useless information. It's good to know in case you get audited by, say, the EEOC, but beyond that, it's worthless. It's useless information. I don't care about it. It has no relevance on decision making. It has no relevance on hiring. At least where I stand. At least my opinion. At least within my capacity. But if you care about that, well, that's your problem. That also tells me a great deal about you. And this is why I will refuse. If you call me an ally, I will probably reject it. If I like the person, I probably won't say anything, to be honest. He's like, all right, well, whatever. Don't ask me to fight your fights. Don't ask me to show up to a rally. I'll say no. I'll politely disincline. Or decline, rather. But essentially, I mean, this kind of thing has been bugging me for a while. I don't think that anybody that uses this type of terminology and allyship is really doing any good, and I can see where it comes from, to be honest. It's a thing that people have been taught. They assume it's us against them. They assume it's the ethnic minorities in a majority demographic, so blacks against whites, for example, or anybody that's not white skinned versus white people. In America in particular, considering 3/4 is white and the rest is everything else, they often assume this. But they've also been taught that there is a power struggle that exists between all of this, and this power struggle is real, and these white people are keeping people down, and since all males are holding the highest leadership positions, they're keeping women down, and it's all this objective or subjective interpretation of reality, ignoring biology, ignoring data, ignoring facts, ignoring sociobiology, ignoring evolution. In fact, I've read many of articles from the feminist circles in women's studies, journal articles, mind you. This is scholarly research that pretty much says that their lived experiences trump objective reality. That these things are real, whether you like them or not, or if you agree with them or not. And because we say they're real, and it's within our experience that some folks, as they put it, experience this particular set of oppressions without ever actually articulating those oppressions or giving demonstrations or even instances thereof of this particular oppression. And especially when it's claimed to be systemic, that's another topic for a different video. But if I happen to agree that that's a horrible thing that happened to you, that doesn't make me your ally. That makes me agree that that horrible thing has happened to you. What might make me your ally is if you wish to change the system in such a way that it never happens to anyone ever again for any race, creed, or religion. Sure, I can get behind that. If you just care about your own creed, race, religion, or sex, no, I don't care. You can fight that fight. You're welcome to it. I will have no part of that. I only care about discarding all demographic information because it leads to nothing but divisive hate mongering. It leads to racism. It leads to sexism on both sides. Misandry and misogyny. Or racism. There's only racism. There's no reverse racism. It's just racism. One denigrating a race over another or making one to sound superior over another. For example, the concept of white privilege is by its own face a racist statement. It assumes that whites are privileged over everyone else. In essence, that is a racist statement, and anyone that believes this to be a true thing is being racist in two ways: denigrating the minority and exalting the whites. Racist on both counts. Good job. And this is why I won't side with that. This is divisive. I don't think it's occurring. There's no data that shows that this stuff is occurring. So why should I agree with your lived experiences and your feelings? Because you feel offended? Sorry, don't care. Be offended. That's your problem. You were invited not to be offended. You chose to be offended. And if you choose to be offended by reality, you're going to have a very hard life. It's going to be very sad for you. Because there's a lot of people that just don't care. I happen to be one of them. The whole allyship is a ploy. It is a claim that the Marxist dichotomy, the oppressed versus the oppressor, is a real thing, and you need to pick a side. You're either for us or against us. There is no middle ground. Well, I hate to tell you, there is a middle ground. The middle path, as I like to call it, borrowing from the Buddhist traditions. And I'm going to take it. And I'm going to leave all of you in the dust, because I find this path to be more equitable, more charitable, more correct, more aligning to reality. That's all I got for this. I'm going to go check on my kids who's losing his lunch and his dinner. That's always fun. And I have a little surprise for this Friday. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm going to have a live stream between me, Skeptic Nikki, and the Godless Mom. We're going to have a round table discussion. I'm actually just going to be interviewing them on my channel, and hopefully it'll be very entertaining. I've talked to Skeptic Nikki a few times. I'm still trying to push her into doing her own channel and whatnot. She doesn't have the equipment for it. Plus, you know, life kind of gets in the way. But I think she's got a lot to contribute, and I'd like to see what she has to offer, to be honest, because the last few times I've had her on my podcast, she's been awesome. She's a really good person to know. I like her quite a lot. Courtney, I haven't had much interaction with. Godless Mom. She's most I've talked to her is on Twitter, but this will be the first time we've actually done a collaboration. And yeah, the interview should be pretty exciting. So tune in for that. It's going to be on Friday at what is it? 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock Pacific Standard. Yeah, 5 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock East Coast. But that's all I have for this video. Please let me know what you think. And I prefer to hear the criticism over the compliments, even though the compliments are always so great. The criticisms I approve of more, and that is because all criticism is a gift. Sometimes it's the ugly sweater your grandma gives you on Christmas, but you're still going to wear it at least once for your grandma or grandpa, whatever works for you. But regardless, at least you try it once before you discard it. Or may not, maybe not. Maybe it's a pretty nifty sweater. But thank you, and see you next time.
Don't stop me! If you do, I will kill myself!